Hello and welcome to the news. We are in the knockouts and it's four teams who fight it out for the World Cup. It's the first semi-final where host India take on New Zealand at the famous Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. Now, a lot of history with Wankhede. Joining me today is Siddharth Prabhakar, who has been writing on the World Cup for TNM. Hello, Siddharth. Siddharth, we are at the business end of the tournament. India is unbeaten, a whitewash in the league stages, winning all their nine matches convincingly. Now, before we go into this thriller of a match, let's dive in a little into India's form this past month. Uh, please tell us how your take on how this, how India has fared in the league stages, winning nine out of their nine matches convincingly.
Yeah, Bhuvan. So the most encouraging part of India's performance for me personally, as someone who's watched a lot of cricket and who's been watching this campaign, is that every aspect of India's cricket has been tested. For example, the openers have done really well. Rohit Sharma has, according to me, been the batsman of the tournament because he set a very clear agenda that he's going after the bowling in the first power play, getting India off to a good start. Uh, Shubman Gill also has looked good. Virat Kohli, needless to say, has been in absolutely stunning form. Then comes Shreyas Iyer, who a lot of people had doubts, but he has allayed all doubts with with a few brilliant knocks, especially the one against Netherlands. And then KL Rahul is like everybody has forgotten all the criticism that KL Rahul faced just a year ago, and he's turned back the clock. If you look at Surya Kumar Yadav and Ravindra Jadeja, they too have had good stints with the bat. It's not like they have been completely untested. They have played Jadeja had a knock against New Zealand. Surya Kumar Yadav played well against England, had a almost had a 50 if I am not mistaken. And as far as the bowling goes, there's nothing much for me to say. I mean, India's bowling attack is now the envy of every cricket expert, every former cricketer from every part of the country. I mean, Australians, Pakistanis, England, New Zealand, every South Africans. Everybody is envious of India's supremely balanced bowling attack. So that has been the most encouraging part. So I would say that India are absolutely, it's like a well-oiled machine. Every spoke, every screw, and every moving part of the Indian juggernaut is extremely well-oiled. And I mean, this is the probably the best Indian team that we have seen so far in any World Cup.
Right, Siddharth, let's focus a little more on the batting now. You've had great starts. You've seen Rohit Sharma, Shubman Gill, who was out for a few matches because of dengue, but he comes back and he gets back strong. So how do you see how different is it? You see Rohit Sharma or Shubman Gill, take the anchor role and they give such a good start to the Indian team that the batsmen who come in Rohit Sharma, sorry, Kohli, KL Rahul, and Shreyas Iyer have don't have to face that pressure. And you've seen even if the wickets fall, the run rate has always been up to the mark. So how different has Indian teams batting, especially the role of openers, been different from the other team?
Yeah, so Bhuvan, this is something that is common to India and South Africa. Now, if you look at the World Cup or if you look at ODIs per se in the last few years, one of the major challenges has been in the post IPL, in the post T20 leagues era, is batting teams are whether they are able to play out their 50 overs convincingly. I'm not talking about being 7 down, 8 down in the 45th over or getting all out in the 48th over. That doesn't qualify as playing 50 overs. What I mean is, are their top 6, top 7 batsmen able to play out the 50 overs convincingly and get a really good score based on the pitch and the conditions? So if you see through this World Cup, most of the teams have struggled. Now, if you see, for example, England when they played South Africa and Wankhede in the same Wankhede that is going to host the semi-finals, if you see the overall scorecard, I think South Africa got 400 plus. Klassen had that amazing 100, and if you see England were around 170, 180 runs in 22 overs, but they were all out. They were all out in that. So that has been the story of probably this World Cup, where all teams except probably India, have struggled to bat out their 50 overs convincingly. Now, if you look at India, India has not faced that problem. So if we look at it in a microscopic way, what has happened is India has had a middle order, has a solid middle order, which has been given the role to play a lot of singles. keep the scoreboard ticking, but not really go for the big shots in the middle overs. Commentators on air in the official broadcast have been constantly talking about the middle overs. Which team is performing well in the middle overs? Okay, fine. You have Rohit Sharma who's giving you a brilliant start at in the first 10 overs. So other teams also have, say, Travis Head for Australia, or Quinton de Kock for, or even England has David Malan, and Pakistan has had Fakhar Zaman and things like that. But how convincingly have they played the middle overs? So for that, we've had Virat Kohli, who's probably facing criticism from a certain section of the cricketing fans for his low strike rate. But you look at the larger picture. He is ensuring that India play out the 50 overs extremely convincingly, and then you have your KL Rahul, Shreyas Iyer, and Suryakumar Yadav and Ravindra Jadeja come and score those quick runs at the end. And you already have a Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill who already scored quickly in the first 10 overs. So this is something that has been extremely encouraging as far as the Indian batting lineup is concerned.
Right. So you mentioned Kohli's role, right? So I think a lot of this is a lot of the middle overs that you play from. Like you have great starts in the first 10 overs, then you have when then it mellows down in the next 10 overs, and then you have a slow partnership building. How do you say non-highlight kind of a stint from 20 to 35 overs, but it actually is very underrated how they keep the partnership going. And once you're past the 200 to 10 mark, it gets easier for the other batsmen to accelerate, and that has been one of India's strength this season. But how do you see the middle order? Middle order has always been one of the million-dollar questions of the Indian team, and today is the knockout stages, and it's always in the knockout stages that we miss, or we start questioning how Indian middle order faces. But how do you think Shreyas Iyer, who was under a lot of criticism before the Mumbai match, has taken the role? And they don't look like it's a one match thing, a one match innings. They are confident the way they play, and that's also probably how their personality is. So how has the middle order taken the stage?
Yeah, so Bhuvan, I would like to tell you about a recent podcast where Yuvraj Singh was the guest. It was a really long podcast, around 2 hours. So, in one very striking thing, he talks about India's 2019 World Cup campaign is how probably the batting lineup was very jumbled, and he probably hints at how India did not have a solid number four batsman who had been groomed in the past, say in the lead up to the tournament, like how Yuvraj Singh had that role in the 2011 World Cup where India won. So if you he pointedly spoke about how in the semi-final against New Zealand, the heartbreaking semi-final in Manchester where India lost against New Zealand, he spoke about how MS Dhoni came probably five down. I was just looking at the highlights. If I remember correctly, MS Dhoni came after Ravindra Jadeja in that after or before. I mean, yeah, 4 or 5 down is when MS Dhoni came. So that issue has been corrected by the Indian team management this time. Every batsman has a solid role. So India could have easily played KL Rahul at number four. Nobody would have questioned, especially after his 100 in the Asia Cup against Pakistan, with that fantabulous partnership with Virat Kohli. But no, it is Shreyas Iyer who comes two down. He has batted two down for all the games, and KL Rahul comes three down. So this has been something that has been extremely, it has been like a calming influence. India, Shreyas Iyer knows his role. He knows that he's going to bat at number four in every game, and that has helped him. If you look at the game India played against South Africa and Kolkata, Shreyas Iyer was struggling. He was probably, batting at a strike rate of 20 or 30 in the first 20-30 balls that he played. But look at where he finished. He had a strike rate of 400 when he finished. And look at how South African batsmen, who have probably been the best batsmen in this tournament, look at how they struggled on the Kolkata pitch. It was it was spinning miles. Indian bowlers were bowling really well. Spinners were doing really well, and South Africa struggled to score runs. So we need to look at these things, like you rightly pointed out. We need to look at this in totality. And Shreyas Iyer has been assured of a role, and he's doing that to perfection.
Right. So coming to the bowling side, that now there is no doubt that this is one of the best bowling attacks in the tournament. And it's they clean up teams like New Zealand, South Africa, and they continue to complement each other. You have Siraj, Bumrah with the new ball, and I think Bumrah's role is also a little bit like Rohit Sharma, where you don't see a lot of wickets, don't see on the top five wickets, but he creates that pressure. He creates that, he creates a stage for Siraj, who can just come in and who has been brilliant, no doubt. And then Shami comes in after the first change, and he creates magic. He takes a wicket almost every first over. But how has the bowling attack been? I know there is no question about it. And how do you see this Indian bowling lineup?
Bhuvan, cricket historians and cricket lovers, they say something about Australia's fast bowling side of the 70s and 80s. If Lee doesn't get you, Thomo must. That is Jeff Thompson. So if Dennis Lee doesn't get you out, then Jeff Thompson will get you out. So that is the running joke, and at least in my friends group right now, if Bumrah doesn't get you, Siraj will. And if you manage to play out Bumrah and Siraj, then Shami will get you. And if you manage to somehow play out these three super fast bowlers, then you need to face Kuldeep Yadav, who's bringing the ball into the right hander, and Ravindra Jadeja, who's bringing the ball, taking the ball away from the right hander. So it's like, it's a unbeatable bowling lineup, and that is how it has been. And each one of the bowlers that I have mentioned has individually done extremely well. Yeah, in some other situation, if I am very sure if Shami had not picked up those 18 odd wickets that he's done in the 4-5 games, I'm sure bulk of those 18 wickets would have been picked up by Jadeja and Kuldeep Yadav, and their tally in the wickets column would have been extremely high. Bumrah, we have it's like he's been waiting for this stage after a long injury layover, and you can see that intent every time he runs into bowl. He's getting shorter spells. He's getting a 4 over spell at the start, and then he comes in the middle over to bowl 2-3 overs, and then at the death he bowls his remaining overs. If you had seen the Netherlands game very closely, Netherlands. I mean, by the 10th or 15th over, it was very clear that Netherlands are not going to be able to chase this. But you see how Bumrah came in his second spell and got that Yorker to, I forget the name of the batsman, to get him out. It was an unplayable ball. It was at the bottom of the off stump. So, and it was really, so he is practicing practicing his skill to keep improving and to keep, delivering for his side. I mean, that is something, it has been an absolute joy to watch. I mean, for the first time, Indian fans are saying that, we don't want to see the batting, we want to see the Indian bowling. So that says a lot. So, Bhuvan, I wanted to ask you something about New Zealand. So, what do you think? Who are the three players from New Zealand you think will be a big challenge for India in today's semi-final?
Right. So, I mean, the last time they went in the league stages, we did have a conversation about the matchups about Trent Bolt, Rohit Sharma. I think regardless of how that match went, it's the semi-finals. It doesn't matter what your record has been in the league stages. So it's down to like you're one ticket away from the finals, and the pressure is high. So I think again, like Trent Bolt against Rohit Sharma against Virat Kohli is going to be a contest that I am looking forward to. And you know there is uh, there is this if you look at the top scorers this season, you'll find a 23-year-old left-hander amidst Kohli, Peacock, Rohit Sharma, and Warner, and Rachin Ravindra with like 565 runs, I think, in the league stages, sits at the number third spot. That talks a lot about a 23-year-old amidst the greats, soaking in all the pressure at the top, and what a journey he's had, and I think 3 centuries also. So I think that is one of the players that we are going to be in talking about a lot more in the future. So I think, but the if you look at the New Zealand bowling this season, you've had Trent Bolt, around 13 wickets or something, and you have Mitchell Santner, who's had 16 wickets. Like you can say, he's the most successful bowler for New Zealand this season. Despite all that, New Zealand are still a side who, like, it's their ninth semi-final, and they are a side that is not going to worry a lot about the momentum India is carrying, or if India is the host. They will go all guns out against India. You have Kane Williamson back in the side, He complements the batting. And the interesting, if you look at the last match, the interesting thing about the last match was how Darren Mitchell handled Indian bowlers. He was right there, walking out of the crease, uh, playing on the this, and he also forced Siraj, to bowl to his legs, and he was under Siraj was under pressure. You hadn't seen that in a long time, and you saw how he hit Kuldeep Yadav straight, and Kuldeep Yadav was also under pressure. So I think Daryl Mitchell is somebody. I think he reminds me a little about Kohli. The way is anxious around the crease, and anxious in the sense like he wants to do something. He doesn't want to wait it out, take singles and everything. He wants to get on top of the bowlers. And Daryl Mitchell is somebody that I think will play a crucial role. But I also feel that this was going to be my question to you, that often in these matches, we are at the business end of the tournament. We have seen over the years that it's just little things that end up having a huge impact on the game. A dropped catch, a run out. I'm sure there's a run out that the Indian fans can never forget, or a misfield. So fielding plays a huge role. You saw in the last match also that Jadeja dropped Ravindra. So it's not just a regular game. Semifinals carries huge pressure. So how do you think those, even the greats of the game, we've seen them fumble under pressure. So those fielding things, how do you think that can play or change the course of the match?
So, Bhuvan, that's a very interesting point that you make. So, I have been, I mean, like all of us, I have been watching this Indian team closely on and off the pitch. Off the pitch is obviously through, the videos that are posted on Twitter and things like that. I feel that this Indian team is looking extremely relaxed. And there's like we've spoken about in a lot of our videos, the Indian team has a particular vibe to it. Everybody is always laughing. Everybody is enjoying each other's company. I mean, the Ashwin in a Tamil, I mean, Star Sports Tamil interview said, uh, we are all extremely old now, so if we don't really get along with each other, then only it's a problem. So it's something like, the vibe around the Indian team is extremely relaxed, and when that happens, that usually shows on the field. So as far as fielding mistakes are concerned, or pressure of the big game is concerned, I think today's semifinal is going to be one game where the Indian team is going to come out and put up a supremely world class performance on the field. Is what I feel. Just getting just going by the way the team is gelling with each other and having fun with cricket. But having said that, I don't think that is going to be enough, because New Zealand is also a team that plays like that. New Zealand is also a supremely professional team. I was looking at one video that was done by Cricinfo Tamil, was talking about where New Zealand is extremely liked even by Indian fans. So that is the nature of this side. Because why are they liked by even Indian fans? Is because of the way they play cricket. It's because they're very unassuming, they're very professional. I mean, you look at Mitchell Santner. Mitchell Santner has probably been one of the best spinners in this tournament, in this World Cup, and he's probably arguably been the best fielder in this tournament. But he's flown under the radar. If you ask hardcore cricket fans, they would not probably talk about Santner at all. But so that's the way they are. They are someone. They are players who exhibit a superb level of skill, professionalism, but they are not probably spoken about as much. So India will really need to hold their nerves all the while, put up their best show to beat this New Zealand side.
Right. So when you talk about New Zealand, let's hear your opinion on the New Zealand team. Now, New Zealand were on a roll before they met India, and they went on to have four straight defeats, to a point where the semi-final spot was doubtful. But they made their way into the ninth semi-final spot, and it has always been like, when you see top three teams, you always think of, oh, maybe South Africa, India, Australia, or England inside. But New Zealand has always been, the fourth side, or it's probably cliche, I think, to think about New Zealand not being the top side. But how do you see their, approach to this semi-final, their, tactics or plans for this match?
Some of the key pointers, of course, adding on to yours, you spoke about Daryl Mitchell, you spoke about Rachin Ravindra and Trent Bolt. According to me, I think the big draw of this game is going to be Devon Conway. Conway is so. Remember, India are going to start with Bumrah, Siraj, and Shami. And I think Conway is going to play an important role. I think Conway has looked good in this tournament. He scored only 100, if I remember correctly, in the first game against England. He's not scored big after that, but he's looked good, whatever I have seen of him. And let's remember that Devon Conway is a CSK player, and he's come off playing that high pressure final in Ahmedabad against Gujarat Titans. So I think so. Even if say Devon Conway gets a 40 of 20 balls, Devon Conway has that ability to score quickly in the power play. So I feel that is going to be a major thing. Then the second big thing is I feel that Rachin Ravindra's left arm spin along with Santner is going to play a big role. Because we are already seeing Indian Express reporting that the pitch probably might be on the slower side. And I don't know why, but my mind goes back to that test match in India versus England test match in Mumbai, where India prepared a dust ball and Monty Panesar and Tram Swan just ran through the Indian side, and of course Kevin Peterson scored a brilliant 100 then. So it's not like New Zealand don't have the spinners, but I feel Devon Conway, and I would place my bets on Kane Williamson. Kane Williamson is a big match player. I mean, if you see the highlights of the 2019 World Cup semi-final, it's Williamson played he kind of shepherded the innings and got New Zealand to a decent total.
The one point I think cannot be missed is how the Manchester match in the last World Cup against New Zealand, and you know the MS Dhoni gets run out. The first day gets postponed, and you have India batting in the second day. It was a low target, but you still it was like a heartbreak for Indian fans, and I'm sure that is on the back of their mind. So how different is India today from that game?
Yeah, so like we already discussed, based on Yuvraj Singh's point about the batting lineup, the 2023 Indian batting lineup is a lot more settled. Everybody knows where they are batting. There is a very specific role. There is nobody in the side who is, who has doubts about, oh, should he be there, should he not be there, things like that. Everybody is there because they have performed well. There's a lot of conviction in their selection. And what I also feel is that unlike the 2019 World Cup, where it was I think Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, and Shikhar Dhawan who had just blown away all the other sides. I think India's batting lineup has been properly tested. So in 2019 game again in the semi-final, India's bowling was pretty good. It was really good. I think we bundled out New Zealand for to 220 or something. But as a batting that kind of failed to come up to the rise up to the occasion. So that is one major difference. Apart from that, I feel that this side has a specific plan on how to approach every phase of the game, and yeah, I think that is something. And one important thing is that India has two really good finishers. So in case India is chasing, Ravindra Jadeja and Suryakumar Yadav are people who have finished games for India as well as their IPL sides. So that is something that can really work to India's advantage.
Right. So, coming back to this match, how important do you think toss plays a role? But I've always felt, this question as a tricky question, because, no matter what you do, if you bat well, you have to score below above par, say 200, 250, 300. Even if the pitch is slow, you have seen Mumbai, Wankhede being a high scoring match, high scoring first innings. So, do you think that will play a role, or it's down
No.
to yeah,
See, of course, the Indian captain Rohit Sharma himself has told that he's played his entire cricket in Wankhede and the toss doesn't really matter. And going by India's performance in this World Cup, I don't think it will be a big deal whether India bat first or bat second. But I feel that New Zealand will not be able to chase as well as India. So if India bat first and put up a total of even 350 or 320 plus, I think New Zealand will find it really difficult. But the converse, if New Zealand put up a target of 350 and India has to chase, I think India will fancy its chances more than New Zealand would in that situation. So yeah, so that is something that So I think the only chance for a good chance for New Zealand to win this game would be to have India bat first and somehow get them all out for less than 300 and and then bat really well to get the target.
Right. So we are one match away from the finals, and like we are two matches away from finals, but the winner today goes to the finals. Um, lot of hopes with India. They're the host country, and Ravi Shastri actually said that it will take a long time for India to win another World Cup after this. So let's hope we have a good match. Let's hope the fans have something to cheer about today, and we'll join you with a lot more discussions about how the other teams fared. I'm sure if you look at the last match, how a lot of things about Netherlands team, how they were. Not all out, and they batted the 50 also. I think those discussions deserve a lot more for us to talk about. So we'll catch you again, and thank you, Siddharth, for joining with us.